carry that with us.
So let's go back to the mental health in the Black community. Number one, this is, again, it's not the table talk that we have. And we have the extreme version of getting mental health means like you're either schizophrenic or some other extreme thing happening, but not for mental maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you speak on the importance? Why is it different for our community than maybe other communities?
Well, acceptance.
Acceptance.
So we've recently,
okay,
as a culture, have accepted the fact that mental health exists. In our homes, in our families, in our community.
Step one.
Recently, that one.
That's at step one.
That one we try to ignore. That Uncle Pete that we try to ignore.
Right.
We've recently accepted the fact that it exists. And it's always existed. We all know somebody in our family that is challenged.
Right.
And we try to ignore them.
And so we're not saying, oh, they're just crazy. Now we're actually articulating that there's something else going on. Maybe
and
some
we need to know.
bipolar, some other thing. Okay.
And we need to know, because the bottom line is that it can be passed along genetically.
Okay.
And so we need to know what's going on, and then we need to help our people.
Right.
Because you never know, helping that uncle will now enable you to help maybe that child who is somewhere down in the lineage of our family. Right. And so we need to, so the first thing was acceptance.
Okay.
We had to accept it. And once we accept it, now we can begin the understanding and understanding the awareness of it, as well as the education.
Okay.
Right. And what needs to happen when someone is stressing out? What are some of the coping skills you need to practice in order to manage that stress and not allow it to go overboard? As you go through life, and you know this, you're always going to face something, whether it's grief, whether it's depression, stress, loss of anything, loss of a job, loss of a relationship, loss of a loved one can carry grief. And it doesn't matter whether you get it, it matters how you manage it.
Absolutely.
And how you manage it will dictate the length of it. And so developing coping skills. But first we have to accept it. You have to accept that this could be a possibility. You have to accept that it exists. And now here's what I'm looking to do with it. And so first is acceptance. Once we accept it, then there's education, and then there's awareness. And now we have to be open and honest with ourselves when we need help and find the appropriate help.